This is the Louis T. Network.
In the lab room.
Welcome, you are in the lab room. I'm your host, Luke. Thank you for joining me. It is Friday. Smell the Friday, everybody. And if it's Friday, that means there's some Thursday night football to discuss. And that's exactly what we have on the docket right now. Cleveland Browns hosting the Buffalo Bills. And this was actually a very entertaining game. I told you I couldn't wait to watch this football game unfold because the whole nation was going to be able to see two teams that you don't get to see very often play some football, and they did not disappoint. I actually was surprised at how many points were scored in this game. I expected the defenses in this game to actually play better. And you could argue that the defenses weren't that bad, but the special teams units were extremely efficient, especially for the Cleveland Browns. They were borderline dominant in this game, but let's start at the beginning for the Browns in this game. The thing I talked about going into this game was Billy Ho and him getting an opportunity to show what he can do on the huge stage that is Thursday Night Football, national television, only show in town NFL-wise. And so all eyes were going to be on the Browns. They were at home, chance to go to 3-2 overall, chance to go atop the AFC North division by themselves. And he started out this game sharp. Did Billy Ho, a.k.a. Brian Hoyer, throws a beautiful ball to Josh Gordon. Probably should have resulted in a touchdown. It did not, however. He dropped the football. Simple case of trying to run before you have the ball. Can't do that. You don't get opportunities to make that throw and make that kind of play in this league that often. Got to take it when it presents itself. And the beauty of that play was normally, if that's Brandon Weeden at quarterback, the issue with that play would have been him overthrowing the receiver and not the receiver having an opportunity to catch the ball and just not doing so. And so things have changed in Cleveland because Brian Hoyer is at quarterback and he's getting it done. But on that possession, they're moving the football. They end up punting. They get the football back after the Bills were able to score a touchdown. And Brian Hoyer gets the football and he's running. And he was reluctant to run on this play. He didn't want to run. He had completed some passes, couple passes here and there, and he looked sharp early on. And he didn't want to run on this particular play. But the play dictated that he needed to tuck it and go. If he didn't run, he was going to get sacked. And so he hesitated, and then he ran. He said, all right, I got to go. He said, I don't want to run. All right, I got to go. And he ran. And I was having a discussion with a buddy of mine. It was funny because that morning, as we were discussing this game, we were talking about sliding and QB sliding and talking about Robert Griffin III and him needing to get down and other quarterbacks around the league and the dynamic of sliding. And I said, you know what? Sliding isn't all that it's cracked up to be because in this league, if you don't slide early, you are susceptible to being absolutely smashed and just wiped out. And Brian Hoyer showed some sneaky athleticism. I don't think a lot of people know that he possesses the ability to run. And he tucked it and he ran and he picked up the first down. He made a guy miss and he was going down the sidelines. He wasn't going to make it to the sidelines out of bounds before he was going to get hit. So he decided to drop it down and slide. And he looked very comfortable sliding. Nice, clean baseball slide coming. And right as he's going down into his slide, again, this is the National Football League. And up here in this league, if you're going to slide, gonna have to do it early. Gotta slide early. If you're gonna do it up here in this league, in the National Football League, gonna have to slide early, folks. And Billy Ho didn't understand. He didn't get the memo. Apparently, Billy Ho didn't get the memo. You're gonna slide, gotta do it early. Because he decided he was gonna slide right as the defender, and in this particular case, Kiko Alonso. And Kiko Alonso is everywhere. I say that all the time. Now you understand why I say what I say, because this guy is everywhere. But anyway, Kiko Alonso was bearing down on Hoyer as he went to slide. Hoyer drops down the slide. Kiko Alonso lowers the boom, helmet-to-helmet contact. Hoyer is knocked out on impact as he's sliding. All of his weight shifts down to his knee and his ankle. He goes down in a heap. It is ugly. He's down for about 2 seconds before he comes to and realizes, I can't get up. He's on the ground in pain. They help him up. He walks off. We later find out he has a torn ACL. He's finished for the season. That is such a devastating blow to this Cleveland Browns football team. That is such a sad state of events for Brian Hoyer. I wish him nothing but the best and a speedy recovery. I feel so bad for him because this was it. This was his opportunity to show everyone that he can play at the highest level in the National Football League. This was his opportunity to make himself an NFL starter. Now this opportunity has been taken from him. He may never get this opportunity again. He waited in New England for this opportunity. He finally got it in Cleveland, and now it's gone just like that. After 2 straight wins as a starter, it's gone. And he may never get this opportunity again because the Browns are probably going to draft a quarterback. Look, that's a conversation for another day. Just know that this is a tragic event for Brian Hoyer because his opportunity that he waited so long for is now gone in one instant. And he did the right thing. He slid. He just did it too late. So he paid for it. He went down in a heap. And at this point, I'm a little nervous because the Browns are down 10-0 in the football game. Enter in Brandon Weeden, and there's a reason why Weeden wasn't starting in this game. The last 2 games he was inactive because of an injury he suffered against the Ravens, but he was active for this game, and he was told the night before the game that he wasn't going to start. And so there's a reason he wasn't starting because the Browns felt like their best opportunity to win came from Billy Ho. And Weeden comes in the game, and I'm thinking to myself, down 10-0. The crowd has somewhat turned on him because, you know, if he throws an incompletion, if he takes a sack, anything he does that isn't positive, they're going to boo him, and that's what they did early on in the game. He took a couple of sacks, but I don't mind you taking sacks. I don't want you to turn the football over, and he didn't turn it over in this game, did Weeden, and so I don't have a problem with that. That's his issue. That's his biggest bugaboo, is the fact that he turns the football over way too much, and he misses opportunities to make big plays. And in this game, he took advantage of opportunities. He ate sacks. If he had to eat it, he ate it just so he wouldn't turn it over, and he did the right thing. This defense, I was surprised they actually gave up yards on the ground to C.J. Spiller and company. Fred Jackson had a solid game. They were actually able to run the ball where the Buffalo Bills, E.J. Manuel was able to play within the offense, and he actually looked poised early on, but as the game wore on, he was starting to get erratic. The pressure started to get to him a little bit, and my momentous moment of this game came later on, and we'll get to that a little bit later, but let's talk about Travis Benjamin and his ability to return punts. I talked about all the talent on this Cleveland Browns football team, and he's a part of that talent. I talked about him being a guy that can run back punts, can, you know, use that speed to change the game for the Browns on offense, and you saw the speed on display. You saw the shiftiness and his ability to just be a game changer in this game. Had a huge punt that set up a field goal for the Browns early in this game. Had a huge punt for a touchdown, 74 yards, that gave them the lead in this game. He was huge in this game. And because of what he did in the first half, he laid the foundation for good field position from that point forward for the Browns the remainder of the game because they were afraid to kick him the football. So they started kicking the football out of bounds, but they were kicking it short. So they were getting good field position the rest of the game. So he had an impact on the game even when he wasn't touching the football. And so that's what a good special teams unit can do for you. So let's get to the momentous moment now because the Bills actually played really well early on, especially offensively. I thought they did a good job of not turning it over, of taking what the defense was giving them, forcing the issue, running the football. They were doing all the right things early on in this game when they jumped out to that 10-0 lead. But the momentous play in this game, the momentous moment for me was E.J. Manuel going down. He scrambles out of the pocket, runs, picks up a first down when it didn't look like much was there. And instead of him going out of bounds, he runs towards the sidelines but stays in bounds. And he takes a shot from Gibson, a defensive back in that Cleveland Browns secondary. And it was a clean shot. E.J. Manuel goes down, starts clutching that knee right away. He's done. We later find out he's got a sprained LCL, and so he'll be out a while. And look, to you quarterbacks out there that run, you gotta know when to say when. Look, that extra yard or half a yard or extra 2 yards isn't worth you getting hurt. You either need to get it out of bounds or you need to go and slide if you're going to slide. But do not wait to the very last instant to try and get out of bounds or try to slide, because both quarterbacks in this game, both starting quarterbacks, paid the price for going that extra yard when they didn't have to. Billy Ho already had the first down. He could have slid already. Instead, he continues to run and then tries to slide at the last instant. He pays for it. Same thing with E.J. Manuel. Had already picked up the first down. Could have easily trotted out of bounds. Instead, he continues to run down the field, and he gets a shot right on the knee, sprains his LCL, and so he'll be out for a considerable amount of time. That changed the game, because at that point, the Bills no longer had an opportunity to win this football game. Jeff Toole wasn't going to come in and be the answer. You had to know that. I already knew that. I felt like the Browns had this game locked up. Barring any catastrophic injuries for the Browns themselves or turnovers, they were going to win this game, because Jeff Toole wasn't going to be able to get it done. And that's what happened. He came in and he tried to manage the game and do some things, but all in all, at the end of the day, they needed a quarterback to win them the game. They weren't ahead, so he couldn't sit on a lead. He needed to go out and make enough plays to help this Bills team win. At the end, he ends up throwing a pick six that puts an exclamation point on this win for the Cleveland Browns as they get it done 37-24 in a really entertaining football game. Really didn't expect that many points to be scored, but the Browns put up 37. Special teams really helped them out in this game. The Bills scored points as well, and so this was a good football game. Well played by both teams. Browns go to 3-2 in the season. Bills drop to 2-3. Both of these teams now lost their quarterbacks for a considerable amount of time. Hoyer done for the season. Billy Ho done for the rest of the season. Meanwhile, E.J. Manuel is going to be on the shelf at least 2 weeks, probably a little bit longer with that sprained LCL. So both of these teams, and we'll talk about this a little bit later with the injury, probably are in the quarterback market now. Look, we'll talk about that a little bit later. I'm not going to go there. Time to go into the Pick'em Weekly for Week 5. We'll run down the games quickly, give you a winner for each and every single game. So now I'm going to run down the list of games, give you my winners, and move on from there. It's the Pick'em Weekly for week number 5 here in the Lab Room. Here we go. So we start out on Sunday. Saints traveling to Chicago to take on the Bears. 4-0 Saints go on the road against 3-1 Chicago. Look, the Saints are playing really good football, and I think that they're a really good football team. They're playing both offense and defense equally well right now. However, this Bears team plays better football at home than they do on the road, which is the case for most teams, if not all of them in the National Football League. Some are equally bad on the road and at home, but in the Bears' case, they play better at home. Now, that's not to say that they can't be had in this game at home, but I just got a sneaky feeling here that the Bears are going to get it done. We know how fast the Bears get off to starts in seasons. This seems like one of those years where they'll start 6-1 or 6-2 and then kind of fade toward the end and still make the postseason maybe. Maybe Mark Tresman is the answer. The offensive line is blocking a lot better, so we'll see. But I feel like they can get it done here at home versus New Orleans. I think this defense is going to force Drew Brees into a couple of mistakes. We know Drew Brees will turn it over if you force the issue. I think the Bears can do that. Feel like they can put up enough points to get it done at home. Give me Chicago at home to give the Saints their first loss and put both teams at 4-1 on the season. You look at New England traveling to Cincinnati. New England is 4-0 on the season, and I talked about not counting Brady and Belichick out. Under no circumstances do you put them to rest, put them to sleep. This team is too good when Belichick is coaching and Brady is playing quarterback. They're on the road against the Cincinnati Bengals. And the Bengals, much like the Bears, different team at home. They play better football at home. They're 2-0 at home. They're 0-2 on the road. They're at home in this game. I feel like they're going to rise to the occasion and get it done versus the New England Patriots at home. Give me Cincinnati to rectify this little rut that they're in and right the ship at home. Give me Cincinnati to go to 3-2 and the Patriots to get their first loss of the season. Next game up, Detroit at Green Bay. Family business. Packers coming off of a bye and an ugly loss at this very Cincinnati team that we were just talking about. And so the Packers are one of these teams that they're getting off to kind of a sluggish start, but they haven't played soft teams. They've played really good football teams at San Francisco, at Cincinnati. So they've had a tough go of it. They're coming off a bye. They've had 2 weeks to prepare for Detroit. They know this Detroit Lions team. Give me the Packers at home to get it done, to get back to 500 on the season. If the Lions can go on the road and get this one in Green Bay, this Detroit Lions team is for real. So be interesting to see what they do here. Even if they fall short, but it's a competitive game and they give the Packers a run for their money and scare them half to death, then this Detroit Lions team is for real. If they go in here and do what they normally do in Green Bay, which is get destroyed, then I'll know, hey, this Detroit Lions story is nice to start the season out, but they're still the Detroit Lions. They're still third or somewhere around the bottom tier in this division. We'll see. They got it done against Chicago last week at home. Let's see if they can go back-to-back by getting it done against the superpowers in that division in back-to-back weeks against Chicago and now Green Bay on the road. So give me the Packers, though, to get this one to go to 2-2 on the season. You look at the next matchup. This is a huge one. One of the ones I've circled on the calendar for Week 5. Seattle traveling to Indianapolis to take on the Colts. This is a different Colts football team, different attitude, different mentality, different mindset. They want to run the football. They want to play some hard-nosed defense. They want to grind you into an oblivion. And the Seattle Seahawks are the same exact way. 2 young quarterbacks, 2 second-year guys that are playing at a very high level right now, 2 really good defenses, and 2 running games that want to run the football. Should be very, very intriguing football in Indy. I'm not sold on Seattle on the road. I think that the Colts can do enough to win this game. Give me the Indianapolis Colts to see the Seattle Seahawks suffer their first loss in this football game. Colts are playing extremely well. They've already beat San Francisco in San Francisco. Think they're going to go 2 for 2 within that division. Give me the Colts at home to take care of business. It's going to be a close football game. I think the Colts have enough firepower to beat the Seattle Seahawks at home. You look at the next matchup, Baltimore at Miami. I told you I wasn't sold with this Baltimore Ravens team. I told you that they had sold their souls to the devil for that Super Bowl championship a season ago. Nothing wrong with that. When you've got an opportunity to get that Super Bowl ring, you got to cash it in and get that ring. They got it. Now the Reaper is here to collect his dues, and the Ravens got to pay. I don't see them going into Miami. Now, look, this is interesting for me because I want to see how the Dolphins respond off of that Monday night loss, their first of the season. How do they respond after losing? Is Tannehill and this offense going to get back on track? Is this defense going to get back to getting after the quarterback and forcing the issue? Is this Miami Dolphins team going to fold up the tent after that loss? Or are they going to be resilient and come back and get a win? I'm banking on the latter. Give me Miami at home to defeat the Super Bowl champions. Look, I think this Ravens team is a 8-win club at best, and I expect them to lose to good football teams. This Dolphins team is a good football team. You look at the next game, family business. Giants hosting the Eagles. Eagles 1-3, Giants 0-4. Ouch and ew. I expect the Giants to get back on track here and drag the Eagles down to 1-4. I expect the Eagles, when it's all said and done, to bring up the rear in the NFC East. They're on the road here. I feel like the Giants are playing better football, even though the numbers don't state that, even though that result from last week was a 31-7 shellacking at the hands of Kansas City. They actually fought in that game. They just didn't get it done. So I like the Giants in this game at home to finally get off the schneid and get a win, drag the Eagles down to 1-4 with them. Give me the Giants at home to take care of a little bit of family business. You look at Jacksonville traveling to St. Louis. 2 bad football teams, squaring off against each other. No one in the league is worse, however, than Jacksonville. Give me St. Louis by default in this game. Jacksonville absolutely stinks. Tennessee hosting Kansas City in what was supposed to be a marquee matchup, and still is to a certain degree. If you're a Tennessee Titans fan, you don't want to hear that you don't have a shot without Jake Locker, but what I'm essentially saying is that you do have a shot in this game. You do have a shot, but it's a small one. Your window of opportunity to win shrunk when Jake Locker went down with that hip injury. Look, you can win this game if you get steady play out of the quarterback position. And look, Ryan Fitzpatrick isn't terrible. He's just a guy that's Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde. You might get an excellent half of football. I mean, this guy will come out 11 of 14, 156 yards, 2 touchdowns, no INTs. You're up 17-7 at the half. He's playing good football. You feel good about your chances. And look, that's good Ryan Fitzpatrick. That's Mr. Hyde. But you're also going to get Dr. Jekyll from Ryan Fitzpatrick. And in that same game that he went into the half, 11 for 14, 156, 2 touchdowns, no INTs, you can still get a 5 of 19 for 72 yards and 3 interceptions in that very next half. So it's a tale of two halves for Ryan Fitzpatrick. If you can get him to play a full game without making mistakes, mistake-free football, play within the scheme that the Titans have set up to win this football game. Not try to do too much. Manage the football game. If the Titans continue to play defense the way they've been playing it, they can win this game. But I don't bet on guys that I don't trust, and I do not trust Ryan Fitzpatrick. I hate to go with the road team here. Give me the Chiefs. They've taken care of the football this year. They've got a great game manager. Captain Checkdown has not disappointed this year. They're going to try to run the football. They're going to be effective on the road because that's what this team is. Ultra effective with efficiency. That's what they do. They kill you with efficiency. I look for the Kansas City Chiefs to take that efficient game plan on the road to Tennessee. Without Jake Locker, give me Kansas City to go to 5-0 on the season. You look at the next matchup, Carolina at Arizona. Carolina's coming off a bye. They're 1-2. Arizona has looked very uneasy. They're 2-2, however. They're at home, and they're a different group at home. Tough to beat at home, actually. And so while the Panthers are coming off of a bye, and I expect them to go out there and stifle this Arizona Cardinals team with their defense, I'm not sure that the Cardinals aren't going to play some impressive defense in this game and find a way to win at home. I hate to do this. Give me Arizona at home. I just don't trust Carolina enough to pick them on the road in Arizona. Give me the Cardinals to get this one at home. You look at Denver at Dallas. And I've said this a couple of times this week. Dallas isn't afraid of Denver. Dallas is the type of team that would beat the Denver Broncos, except this Denver Broncos team has it on tilt. And up until last week, I thought maybe, just maybe, the Dallas Cowboys could get pressure on Peyton Manning, force him off of the spot, make him uncomfortable, and get a win. Force him into a couple of mistakes. Tony Romo's playing really good football. They could score points with this Denver Broncos team and upset them. And then I saw what Phillip Rivers and the San Diego Chargers were able to do against this Cowboys defense, and that changed my whole way of thinking. You're not going to give up 400 yards and 3 touchdowns to Phillip Rivers and think that Peyton Manning isn't going to carve you up. Give me Denver on the road to score 37 and find a way to beat the Cowboys. Give me the Denver Broncos to keep it on tilt and go to 5-0 to start this season off. You look at the next matchup, Sunday Night Football, Houston Texans traveling to San Francisco to take on the 49ers. Look, the Texans had a heartbreaking loss last week. I no longer trust Matt Schaub as much as I don't trust the 49ers right now because I still think they're going through an identity crisis. I'm not sure if they're going to remember to hand the ball off to Frank Gore like they did last week. That might have been an anomaly. Maybe they figured it out. They need to run the football and allow Colin Kaepernick to play off of the run. If they figure that thing out, they'll win this game easily because this defense is good and they're running the football. But if they forget to hand the ball off to Frank Gore, and LaMichael James isn't getting his slice of the pie either, and Kendall Hunter is a forgotten man, then they could allow the Texans to stay in this football game. Either way, I don't trust Matt Schaub. I don't trust the Texans. Give me the San Francisco 49ers at home to move to 3-2. Someone's going to drop to below 500, a point that we didn't think either one of these teams would be at in week 5. But someone after week 5 is going to be 2-3. I think that's going to be the Houston Texans. Give me the 49ers in this football game. You look at another Sunday night game. We got 2 this week. Raiders game had to be moved because of the Oakland Athletics being in the playoffs and playing on Saturday. They need time to get the field ready for this matchup between the San Diego Chargers and the Oakland Raiders. So this is going to be on Sunday night, 11:30 Eastern Standard Time. A lot of you will not see the conclusion of this game. Don't worry, I'll break it down for you on Monday. But either way, this is a San Diego Chargers offense right now that is playing extremely well. And this San Diego Chargers team isn't afraid to travel. They almost stole one from Tennessee on the road. They had that game. If not for a late game Justin Hunter catch from a heave from Jake Locker, they're probably 3-1 on this season. And if not for a meltdown in the fourth quarter against Houston, they're probably 4-0 on this season. And so this Chargers team is playing really good football. They've impressed me probably more so than many teams in the league. They're up there with the Chiefs and the Saints as teams that have surprised me this year. I expect them to go into Oakland, find a way to bottle up Terrell Pryor, and score more than enough points to beat the Raiders. Give me the Chargers and a little bit of family business being handled. Give me the Chargers to get it done to go to 3-2 on the season. You look at Monday Night Football, Atlanta Jets. The Jets, to me, are one of the worst teams in the league. I said that before the season started. My stance has not changed. Geno Smith is a turnover machine. He's going to turn it over. The Falcons are desperate. They need it. They're at home. They don't lose at home very often. Takes a pretty special team to go into the Georgia Dome and defeat Matt Ryan. Give me the Falcons to win this one easy in a laugher on Monday Night Football. Give me the Falcons to clean it up on Monday. And that also is my sole survivor pick of the week. So I am extremely confident about that Monday night matchup. Give me the Falcons to take care of business. So that's my pick 'em weekly for week 5. I feel extremely confident about my picks, more so than I did in week 3, way more than I did in week 4. I think I'm going to win 12 games. And there's only 14 games on the slate. We got 4 teams on a bye week. Redskins are on a bye. Tampa Bay is on a bye. Minnesota is on a bye. Steelers are on a bye. So 4 teams on a bye means there's 2 less games, which means there's only 14 matchups. I wouldn't be surprised if I went 12-2 this week. I feel that good about my picks that I just gave you, and I'm looking to turn it up. Last week was a very disappointing week, 9-6, not going to get it done. I need to be better. I expect to be better. I'm here to turn it up. No, really, turn it up. I'm here to go 12-2 this week. I'm going ahead and I'm declaring 11-3, no worse than 11-3. 12-2 is what I'm aiming for, and I look forward to doing it. So, with that being said, touchdown! Let's tack on this quick extra point. With the injuries to the quarterbacks in the game we saw last night, Buffalo having E.J. Manuel go down. Who knows how long he'll be out for with that sprained LCL. Billy Ho down for the season with the torn ACL. All of a sudden, the market for Josh Freeman has expanded. You can add those 2 teams to the list of teams that need some help at quarterback. The Jacksonville Jaguars, to me, still should be your front runner if you are Josh Freeman. Oakland Raiders should be on that list as well. Minnesota Vikings, probably on that list too. There are many teams around the league that need a quarterback. If I'm Josh Freeman, Oakland and Jacksonville are my 2 number 1 priorities because of the ability for you to get an opportunity to start. I think those are the 2 best options that allow you to have the ability to go in and get an opportunity to start. Look, if you're Josh Freeman, you're not asking for anyone to give you anything. You're looking for an opportunity to compete for a starting job in this league. And so I think you can throw Minnesota in the mix as well because they're set up to win now. This isn't a team that's looking to win 3 years down the road. And That's why I think a situation like Cleveland or Buffalo and Green Bay and all these other teams that people are talking about isn't a good fit, because you know who the quarterback is in those situations. In Cleveland, you don't know who the quarterback is, but guess what? They're going to draft, whether they get you or not, they're drafting a QB in Cleveland. That injury to Billy Ho has made it a lot easier on the Browns to decide what to do in the draft. They're getting a quarterback. And maybe even if Billy Ho showed up and showed out this season, they were still going to draft the quarterback. But with him going down, that decision just became a lot clearer. We're going to draft the quarterback in the first round. And so you don't want to be Drew Brees, or you don't want to be that guy that's just holding the place for that rookie quarterback. You want to be able to say, hey, this is my team. I'm the guy. I'm the future of this franchise. And I don't think you get that opportunity in Buffalo, because we know E.J. Manuel is the future in Buffalo. You don't get that opportunity in Cleveland, I don't think. You definitely don't get that opportunity in Green Bay. I don't even think, if you're Josh Freeman, that Green Bay is even on your radar, because you know who's the man there. So I don't think those teams are in play anymore. If you're Josh Freeman, to me, you need to shrink this thing down to Oakland, Minnesota, and Jacksonville. To me, those are the three locations that you're going to get an opportunity to compete for a starting job. I don't think Minnesota is really in the Josh Freeman sweepstakes right now. So I would go ahead and push them away and say that it's really between Oakland and Jacksonville. You're definitely the best man in Jacksonville if you show up tomorrow. You're the guy in Jacksonville tomorrow. In Oakland, you're going to have to beat out Terrell Pryor, but you want competition. You want to be able to say, hey, may the best man win, and you go out and show what you can do and show that you give the Oakland Raiders the best opportunity to win, and maybe you win that position and they start building around you, but those are your best opportunities. Let me throw out this tidbit. What about Houston? What about Houston? What about the Texans? I've already dismissed Matt Schaub as the guy in Houston. What about the Texans? Why not there? Now, I don't know if Josh Freeman coming in and playing right away in Houston would be a good idea, because this team is a veteran team. Schaub knows the offense. You can't do that right now. But I'm talking about maybe next year. And you bring him in now, you allow him to learn, and you tell him that, hey, in the offseason, you're going to get an opportunity, because Matt Schaub isn't winning the Super Bowl. And that would be the only way that you could tell Josh Freeman that, hey, you're not going to be our starter. If Matt Schaub wins the Super Bowl, then he needs to get that job back next season and moving forward. But they're not winning the Super Bowl with Matt Schaub. He's a loser. And so if you're Josh Freeman and the Texans come calling and they say, hey, we'll give you a one-year deal, a prove-it deal. You come in, you work, you sit behind Matt Schaub, you learn this offense, and if the opportunity presents itself this year, we'll put you in. If not, you come in, you compete, and we see if you're the starter next year. What's wrong with that? You observe this guy closely in practice. You see if he can get it done. If he can, why not in Houston? Who knows? Right now, to me, the best logical fits for Josh Freeman are Oakland and Jacksonville. And I think when it's all said and done, that's probably where he'll be choosing between. One more little tidbit, and then we're out of here for Friday. John Beeson, linebacker for the Carolina Panthers, has been traded. They've come to an agreement to trade him to the Cincinnati Bengals, barring him passing the physical. Wow, didn't see that one coming at the season start, but Beeson has been phased out of that defense. He can't stay healthy, and they've got guys playing some really good football at the linebacker position, and so he's been phased out. Put him on the block. The Cincinnati Bengals have bit, and now if he passes his physical, he will be a Cincinnati Bengal. There are a lot of trades in the National Football League. It seems like that Trent Richardson trade opened up the floodgates during the season, and now teams are just putting players on the block, and other teams are calling, and they're making moves. So here's another move in a long list of moves that have been made this season during the regular season. So very interesting things are happening around the National Football League. But that's going to do it for the Friday edition of In the Lab Room. I thank you for joining me here on the program. Remember, if it happens in the National Football League, whether big or small, we cover it all here in the Lab Room. Thank you for joining me. See you on Monday when we break all of these games down. Enjoy the football this weekend. See you on Monday. Like the content? Want more? Sub up.
In the lab